And like we just saw, President Yoon Suk Yeol addressed a joint session of the U.S. Congress on Thursday, reiterating his firm belief in the ROK-U.S. alliance as a safeguard for peace and prosperity in the Indo-Pacific and beyond. Besides the core themes of freedom and liberal democracy, though, his speech also touched on subjects that really moved the American legislature. For more on that, we have our political correspondent Han Seong-woo here in the studio with us. Welcome, Seong-woo.
Happy to be here.
So, Seong-woo, President Yoon was quite the popular guest, I heard.
He was, Ji-young, and it was quite a sight to see. Besides receiving 23 standing ovations in the middle of his 43-minute speech, President Yoon also spent nearly 20 minutes just exiting the chamber, as lawmaker after lawmaker, Democrat and Republican, lined up to take selfies with the leader and even get his autograph on their copies of his speech. We've already covered the core themes of it, so let me just take everyone to the ending of his address, after which everyone in attendance stood up in unison to applaud his message of freedom, peace, and prosperity.
Together, our alliance will continue to move towards the future. We will build the world of tomorrow that opens endless opportunities for our future generations. I look forward to everyone being on board for our new journey together. God bless you. God bless the United States of America. And may God bless our great alliance. Thank you.
According to South Korea's presidential office, around 30 members of Congress asked Yoon for his autograph, including Democrat Senator Ed Markey from Massachusetts. Let me add that legislators also took to social media to commend Yoon and his speech. House Speaker Kevin McCarthy even posted on his Twitter account that President Yoon is a great friend of America, adding that South Korea's commitment to economic cooperation and collective defense makes both Seoul and Washington stronger. The effect Yoon's speech had on Congress was noticeably accentuated by the fact that he paid his respects to American heroes who fought in the Korean War over 70 years ago, such as Colonel William Weber, whose granddaughter was present to see Yoon speak.
Very touching, Seong-woo. And I'm aware that he also quoted two past American presidents as well.
That's right, Ji-young, and one from each side of the political spectrum as well, Democrat John F. Kennedy and Republican Ronald Reagan. Quoting President Kennedy, Yoon pledged that Korea will stand in solidarity with the international community and do what it can for the freedom of humanity, alongside the U.S. as a, quote, a compass for freedom.
In his 1961 inauguration address, President John F. Kennedy said, "My fellow citizens of the world, ask not what America will do for you, but what together we can do for the freedom of man."
Transitioning to the subject of North Korea, Yoon's speech then channeled President Reagan, saying North Korea's nuclear threats and, quote, reckless behavior must be deterred by the ROK-U.S. alliance standing united with determination.
As President Reagan once said, "There is a price we will not pay. There is a point beyond which they must not advance."
Afterwards, Yoon pointed out that he agreed with President Joe Biden the day before to strengthen the United States' extended deterrence. He also called on the need to speed up the trilateral security cooperation South Korea and the U.S. share with Japan. At the same time, though, the president said Seoul will keep the door open for denuclearization talks with Pyongyang.
And lastly, Seong-woo, we have to bring up President's sense of humor, don't we? And I saw that he brought up K-pop sensation BTS in a friendly joke.
I'm glad you brought that up, Ji-young, because that was one of the hidden gems of his speech. Nobody knew the president could joke like that in English. And from the way it was delivered, you can tell just how much he practiced for it.
And even if you didn't know my name, You may know BTS and Blackpink. BTS beat me to the White House, but I beat them to Capitol Hill.
He was referring to last year in late May when BTS visited the White House to speak out against anti-Asian hate crime during a press briefing before meeting President Biden. Yoon's joke came as the leader marveled at how cultural exchanges have brought Koreans and Americans closer to one another.
Indeed, a speech packed with memorable moments. Thank you for outlining them for us, Seong-woo. We appreciate it.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me.